Hi guys, it's your girl Jennifer here, and this is Against All Odds. Welcome to this platform. I hope you've been enjoying the conversations we've been having lately, and I hope they've been helping you. And today is another opportunity for us to share and delve in on another conversation. So today, I want to talk about something that, for me, I find it very, very interesting. In Kenya, they call it Biashara Muda. Translated to opportunistic businesses. I think that is almost the proper translation. But I wish I could get the exact translation for Biashara Muda, because that is what I want to talk about today. So welcome. Hey, now, in the previous and other conversations, there were some business ideas here and there. And those are the things I want to touch on a little bit, because our mental health is connected to us having money, not having money. Income and money has a role it plays in people having or not having mental health issues. And so, poverty is one of the leading contributors, and one of the things that worsens people's mental health, because they cannot access services, they cannot access therapy, they cannot access some opportunities, and those are the things that may lead people to depression. So let's talk about this Biashara Muda today. Now, there's this thing in life where you realize there are some opportunities that come like this. It's like with a snap of a finger, the opportunity is here. If you blink again, the opportunity is not there. Those are the opportunities I want to talk about. Because these are the opportunities that many young people could take advantage of, or even people who are not young, because these are opportunities that anybody can take advantage of. And these opportunities can change your life, but if you're not careful, these same opportunities can mess you up. So I want to help you to understand how you can grab these opportunities and they favor you, and how to avoid situations where these opportunities can work against you. And I want to give a practical example. In Kenya, I used to see, here in the UK, I have not had a chance to see something that could work in a similar way. But let me give an example that has happened in Kenya, and I believe in very many other third world countries, middle class countries. I think mainly in Africa, let me say, because that's where my experience has been. So in Africa, we have this thing like in Nairobi, Kenya. I would see how rain just comes and starts pouring from nowhere. And once this rain just starts pouring, and somewhere out of the blues, you find people on the streets selling umbrellas. Almost every Tom, Dick, and Harry is selling umbrellas. And within 1 hour of that rain pouring, those people will make a kill because of that opportunity. And you will realize people will be grabbing, even wanting those umbrellas, because I believe when you go out somewhere where you're not prepared for it to rain, you won't carry an umbrella in your bag. Clearly, it is heavy, it is taxing. So why carry an umbrella when you know clearly it's not going to rain? But then what happens when it suddenly starts pouring and you desperately need this umbrella? These are the opportunities I'm talking about. So this situation would happen very many times in Kenya. I have been a beneficiary of this. I have been caught in the rain from nowhere, and I had to buy an umbrella. Probably if it wasn't raining and I go to a shop, I would buy an umbrella for about 150 Kenya shillings, probably that is like £1. And now when it rains, the same umbrella, you will buy it for twice the price or 1.5 times the price. But sometimes these quick opportunistic businesses, Biashara Mudas, sometimes it's not about making massive profit. It is about making little profit within a very short time, but make a lot of money. These opportunistic businesses and ideas have been very helpful to many people because I've told you, I've been a victim, I've been caught off guard, had to buy an umbrella. But also I have been, it has happened, and because I had seen this business, people take advantage of this opportunity, one time I also did the same. It started raining, and what did I do? Run into a shop quickly, wholesale shop, buy some shower caps because women do not want their hair to be rained on. So bought some shower caps and also bought some umbrellas. So like you buy 5, you go sell 5, they get finished, you go back to the shop like that. And remember, you also have an umbrella. The umbrella that you're using to shield yourself from the rain is also on sale. So by the time you are going back, you have sold the one you're also shielding yourself from the rain with. And clearly that for me used to work because if it would be it would give me like 1,000 Kenya shillings within a very short time. Who wouldn't want that? 1,000 Kenya shillings probably is about £9-10. Yes, so those opportunistic business work. But for me, I want to give you a very illustrated, clear, opportunistic business that happened for me. So I used to live we used to live in an estate called Tena. And in Tena, when we went to that estate, water was always sufficient and everything. But over time, when more houses got built, more flats came up, water became an issue. So water started being rationed. And when water was being rationed, so what do? You start adapting. So probably it started being, it would come during the day, at night there's no water. Or sometimes there would be water in the night, there's no water during the day. So then you start storing water, then it progresses, then it could come like, certain days there's water, certain days there's no water. Continued like that, sometimes would go without water for weeks. And then it became very unpredictable. You couldn't tell would have water today or no water today or this day. So, as human beings, when you are faced with a challenge, you adapt and you learn how to live around that challenge. So, for us as a family, and where we were living, we had tenants. On one side of the compound, we had tenants, and we had our side of the house. So our tenants got themselves containers where they could use for storing water, and we also got our own. And for us, we had to get big containers. Our family is one family where we always have visitors, and you do not want to have visitors and you do not have water, at least in containers. If there's no running water, at least just have it somewhere in containers. So when water would come, we'd always store it in the containers and ensure we use it sparingly so that we never ever get to run out. Because once you run out completely, you had to go into buying. And in buying, there was the risk of not knowing where the water is coming from, and the risk of buying it very expensively, because definitely somebody has to bring it to you, and you may not need one jerrycan, you may need very many liters of water. Yeah, so that was the norm. And do you know how funny it is where whatever is supposed to be normal is not normal, and whatever is not supposed to be normal becomes normal? So for us, living without water became normal. And in case water came and you are not anticipating it, that would make everything else stop for you to start fetching the water and storing it in the containers, because you never knew what other day water would come. So anytime water would just show up, whether it is in the middle of the night, that would be the time we'd wake up and ensure we have refilled our containers. So this continued and became our normal. So on this particular day, we don't have water. And there's something I need to mention. The other thing is, for you to have water, you had to have a pump. Because if you waited for water to run through your taps and the pipes, normally with the normal pressure, clearly you would never get water. You would never see water in your lifetime. So many people ended up buying pumps. And the more stronger, can I call it stronger? Like the better the pump, like the more the pressure the pump could contain or sustain, the better, because it means you could almost pull water from so far away. So that was very key. So now what we would used to do, you'd go to the main tap where there's the meter, and you'd put on the electricity and put on the pump. There's a noise that the pump would make that would tell you there is water. And sometimes you had to manually add water to the pump for it. I don't know the scientific way of explaining it, but sometimes you add water to the pump itself, then it's going to give it more pressure so that it doesn't have air, and then water can flow easily. And also it would help the pump not to get spoiled. So there's a sound, a distinct sound that the pump would make, and you would know there's water. And you could leave it running for some time without water coming out. Then after some time, the water would start running, and also the sound of the pump would change again to mean that water is flowing. So because we had tenants did not have access to where they could put on the pump, because we could only do it from our house. And when we had water running, then the tenants had the water. So it was always our responsibility to ensure we are trying to see whether there's water. So on this particular day, it's a Sunday morning, and I have already showered and just about to leave for church. I'm not dressed up yet, but I'm about to go to leave for church. Then something just tells me, let me go and find out if there's water, so that I leave the pump running for the tenants to have water, or for me also to just refill whatever I can within the shortest time, then go to church. So immediately I ran the pump. There was so much water. I didn't expect it, because it was rare for us to have water on a Sunday. So, but I don't know, I would say it was just by instinct, because clearly we never used to have water on Sunday. So it wasn't even a day I was supposed to even go looking. So I go, run the pump, and there's water, and plenty. Like it had pressure, because sometimes there would be water, but the pressure is still low as much as you're using the pump. But this time the pressure was so much. So I started refilling our containers, and the tenants on the other side have also started refilling the containers. So as I'm doing that, definitely minding my own business, then I hear a knock on our main gate, which was strange, because we normally had a small gate that we normally used. So it was very rare to use the main gate unless you knew somebody was coming. So I hear a knock, and I go to check. When I go to check through the hole of the gate, and I see it's a stranger, then this stranger, I can see they have some jerry cans on the side, and they tell me, "Oh, madam, I've heard your pump making sounding, and I just wanted to ask if you can please sell us some water." And I am thinking, sell somebody water? Why? But then, me, who loves money and business opportunities like this, because that time I was running my own business. I had a small shop where I used to sell clothes. So if I have the opportunity to make a little money just by selling water, and it's here and it has pressure. Why not? So I let the person in. They had like 5-6 jerrycans of water. So I sold them the water, and they started like to carry the jerrycans and go. So as they are going, I think along the way they met somebody who asked them, "Oh, where did you buy this water?" And the person told them. And so I hear another knock, and I go, and somebody says, "Oh, madam, please sell me water, please sell me water, please." And I'm thinking, okay, so by the time I'm opening the door for this person to come in and I sell them water, now many people have started coming. Many people have started coming, and all of them are pleading that I sell them water. And what do I decide? Who am I? Why not? So I just thought there'll be a few people, sell a few jerrycans of water, and they go, and I go to church. That never happened. I ended up not going to church because the people kept on coming and coming and coming and coming. And for me, when I realized this is an opportunity, who am I? Other than to grab the opportunity and go running. So I ended up selling water that entire day. So in the process of me selling water, I find out, so why are you guys all of a sudden not having water? And then this person says, "Oh, we live in this place, and apparently our pipes and the sewers have burst. So the pipe that has fresh water and the sewer pipes have burst, and because those lines are like, they go parallel. You know, there's something about sewers and the drainage, those pipings, they are always going together. So unfortunately, I don't know what happened. These pipes both burst, and so the sewer water, the sewage water started going into the pipes of the fresh water. So anybody opening their taps, the water that would come out would be sewage. Oh, how disgusting. Yes. So within a very short time, when the water company realized that is happening, when it was reported to them, they closed the system, you know, because definitely it was bad, and the where it had burst, it became like a whole pool. It was a mess on the main road. It was clearly a chaotic situation, you know. So suddenly people do not have water, and they really need water. Good enough that system, that piping system was not the same that served us. So that's why for us we ended up having water, and probably the reason why we had even water with more pressure. So I sold water, and I sold, thinking I would sell on that day. So I remember that day, it was around 8 a.m. in the morning. I sold water till 10 p.m. in the night, non-stop. And at 10, I stopped selling it because clearly now it was night, and for security reasons, I have to stop doing this. And mark you, that is Africa. We don't do credit, we do cash. So every money I was being paid was cash. And no discount of, I have bought many. No. There was nothing like that. It was for every 20 liters of water, you pay. Well, I was selling the water for 10 Kenya shillings, which was really, it was the amount that people normally sold water for those days. Yeah, and so up to 10 p.m., sold water, closed. People went. Following day morning, 6 in the morning, knocks on the gate again. I go to the pump, realize there's still water. So what do? Start the business again. So, to cut the whole long story short, I did this business for 3 good weeks. Because that is the time this water sewage problem lasted for. So, now, what am I doing here? This is an opportunity that has just presented itself. I have grabbed it. But then, after I have sold water for a day or two, then it hits me. Clearly, the water bill is going to go high. The electricity bill is going to go high. I live with my parents. This is not my house. I just was taking advantage of an opportunity. If it was for a few minutes, a few hours, it wouldn't make a big difference. But now, this thing is going on 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. So, and my parents were in the village. So I cannot continue doing this without letting my parents know, because I do not know whether they'll be in agreement with this, because definitely a lot of people are coming into the compound, which is not normal. Definitely I'm locking the house and everything. But then remember also, I've said I used to run a business. So the whole time I'm doing this, I am not going to my business. So because this is the current business I'm doing at the moment. So when I realized this thing is going to go on for a few more days, because I didn't know how long it would last for, then I called my dad and I told him what the situation is. And while I was calling him, I was calling him to seek his permission to continue selling the water. And so his concerns were the security, his concerns were the bills, the other main concern was the bills. And I told him, don't worry about the bills, because this water, the rate I am selling it at, clearly we will have more than enough. Trust me, more than enough. And so my dad gave me the go-ahead. So I sold the water. So what I would do, remember I have a business. But now I want to give you a little background to my business. Though I was doing my business was not a very big business. So my business was in a place, when this was happening, my business was in a place where I was in so much debt and I was kind of struggling with the business. Because, there's a place in the business where you either have to pump in proper stock for this business to really be stable. And so I didn't have the money to do that. So I clearly had accumulated some debts here and there, and I wasn't doing very well. So I was kind of struggling. And that's why it was easy for me to decide to continue selling the water, because at least here I'm making money. If I leave this opportunity and go open my shop, I will hardly make any money, you see. So one thing I told myself is I started selling this water. I told myself, from the amount I'm getting, I will divide this amount into 4 portions. So 1 portion for me to pay myself. This is hard work I am doing. So I will pay myself, put aside money for electricity, put aside money for the water bill, and put aside some money for my dad, for my parents, because the money was clearly a lot. But definitely, when all bills are settled, I would be the biggest beneficiary. It's my idea, right? It's my opportunity, right? So yes, so that's how I decided to split the money. And every day I would get the money, because on these businesses, you do not take chances. This opportunity is an opportunity you grab and run with it. So for me, I started paying my debts immediately, whatever, giving priority to what was urgent. So I started paying my debts like that. By the end of the first week, I promise you, believe me, I had paid off my debts. That is how much money was coming in. So the second week, what I decided to do, I told myself, the second week I will now save up this money to go and pump into my business the money that I needed, which I successfully did. The third week, because now I had seen activity of the water company on making trips back and forth, trying to deal with the issue. So I knew this situation, this advantageous business situation is not going to continue for a very long time. So I really needed to start closing, winding down on this business. So The last week of me doing this business, what did I tell myself? I was saving up money to do my hair, look good, so that by the time I go back to business, at least the business is sorted and I have my own pocket money. So that is what I did. And true to my words, immediately it clicked. 3 weeks. The business and the water situation got sorted. No more water sales, no more nothing. And even after that, it's now after this time that my parents even came back because they were in the village for some time. So, I live, this business just comes. For me, I always say this, when I count my blessings, I always count this blessing because it was a very significant moment of my life. I was doing, you know how you're really struggling financially and you start having these weird thoughts, because these are the weird thoughts I used to have. I used to think like, not because I'm struggling, I will be walking, as I'm walking along the streets or somewhere, I will find a big white envelope, and when I open this white envelope, I will find loads of money, the money that I need to sort me out, and wow, voila, I will be fine. I wish that had happened. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. But this opportunistic business came about, I grabbed it, and it sorted me and all my financial problems at that time. Now, remember the people who sell umbrellas when it rains? And connect this to a situation that has just come up from nowhere and it has favored me. Yes, such opportunities happen. They say opportunities favor the brave, or fortune favors the brave. I think they say that. So, yes, I believe if I had not been courageous enough to just take the risk and say, let me make these few shillings, probably this would not have changed my situation. Probably my business would have depressed me. My business would have gone down. Definitely it would have left me in a very bad place, because at least it was keeping me independent financially, you see. So, such business ideas are, let me not call them ideas, but opportunities, such business opportunities, when they come up, they are those business opportunities where you have a very small window of thinking and decision making. The longer you take, this business idea could just escape you just like that. For example, when it's raining for like an hour, if you do not make up your mind to sell those umbrellas within the first 5 minutes, find where you want to buy the umbrellas from and how much you're going to sell them for. After 1 hour, you'll be too late. You see? And if you bought the umbrellas anticipating rain and it doesn't rain, then what happens to you? So you must be very quick to decide, number one. The other thing, you have to be quick to decide to do it, but you also have to be very quick to decide it is time to stop. Because when it is rainy and you have bought 50 umbrellas and you're sure the traffic of people is too high, so people are buying and buying and buying. But once you see the rain, the chances of the rain stopping anytime, that is the time you also decide, I am not buying any more umbrellas. Because if you don't make that decision quickly to decide that I've had enough, and you go and buy another 50 umbrellas and you only sell 2 umbrellas, probably you will have made a loss, because you can't go to the wholesale shop and say, and that is in terms of Kenya. Here in the UK and in the West, you can do that. But in Kenya, no. You don't come and buy things from a shop wholesale, then go take a chance, and then it doesn't work, you bring them back to me. No, in Africa it doesn't work like that. So you have to be very quick to decide, this is the time to close down and to stop. Because if you do not do that, whatever profit you would have made, clearly you will kind of now go into the loss side. Thirdly, never treat opportunistic businesses as the main business idea or decide to run with it. Because an opportunistic business, like now for the sewage issue, once the water system, the water issue was sorted, I couldn't continue and tell myself I'll not now go back to my business and keep on selling water. Who would I be selling the water to? You see, I couldn't treat that as my main business. Not unless before I was a water vendor and I continue with my normal water vending business, just that there has been a time where there has been a spike in the business. But if it is not my normal line of business, don't make it your main business. It could mess you up. See, that is another thing that you shouldn't do. But also, again, the other fourth and most important thing to do, as you're doing that quick business and everything, the profits that you make at that time, if you do not know what to do with it, just do the business as you keep the money, and as you go along, decide on what you want to do. Because, have you heard them say easy come, easy go? Sometimes that can happen. You can end up making a very bad financial decision or making a very bad decision that would cost you in the future because you did not plan very well. So, treat that opportunity as a once in a lifetime opportunity and don't dwell there. Otherwise, you are going to make blunders in your life that could be really, really, really costly. So, I hope at this point you know how to grab opportunities when you spot opportunities. When COVID happened, there are people who are very courageous to start selling masks, to start selling sanitizers and all this. And clearly within that short period of time, as much as some of them exploited us, they made a kill for themselves. These opportunities will present themselves for anybody at any point in time. Are you keen and smart enough to grab them? This is Against All Odds. I'm your girl Jennifer. Let's meet on the next video. To change the world, change your mind. Bye.